Most people believe they can accomplish much more in a single day than they actually can, but almost no one realizes how much they could completely transform their lives in just 6 months if they decided to focus on what truly matters. 6 months isn't too far off to lose motivation, nor is it too short to create real change. It's the perfect time frame to build wealth, abundance, and a new standard of living. While many spend hours planning a trip, choosing hotels, reading online reviews, and designing every detail of a few days of leisure, almost no one invests the same time planning the next 6 months of their own life, as if the future could simply happen by chance. But the truth is, what you don't plan, someone or some circumstance will plan for you. If you don't make clear decisions today, 6 months from now you'll likely be in the same place, with the same problems, the same excuses, and the same energy-draining routine. This is hard to hear, but it's also liberating because what you don't change, you're choosing to keep. The first powerful way to build wealth now is to understand that clarity is power. Vague goals lead to vague results, but defined objectives allow you to see the steps that need to be taken. That's why you need to stop saying you just want to be happier or have more money, and start writing down in detail that you want to increase your income by 40%, start a digital business, pay off debts, achieve financial freedom, and travel the world with ease. When you write down the life you want to live in the next 6 months, something happens in your brain. The reticular activating system begins to filter the information around you, guiding you toward opportunities that were always there but weren't visible before. This shows that wealth starts in the mind long before it reaches your wallet. Another powerful way to build wealth is to transform your life. Philosophy. It's not what happens to you that determines your future, but how you react to what happens. We don't control the wind, but we can adjust the sails. Those who learn to react intelligently extract lessons even from crises, while those who play the victim remain trapped in scarcity. Wealth isn't the result of one grand act, but of repeating small, consistent choices. Here's the secret. What's easy to do is also easy not to do. Reading 10 pages of a good book every day is simple, but so is neglecting it. Saving a small amount weekly is possible, but so is spending thoughtlessly. The difference between those who become wealthy and those who stay in the same place lies in repeating what builds and abandoning what destroys. The environment you live in also shapes your bank account. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you spend the next 6 months surrounded by negative, complacent people who don't believe in prosperity, you'll struggle to grow. But if you seek out people who think big, who've already achieved what you want, and who believe in growth, your mind will naturally be pulled upward. Some people you need to love from a distance because if you keep letting them have a voice in your plans, it's like trying to row with someone poking holes in your boat. Wealth requires the courage to step away from what doesn't add value and move toward what propels you forward. Another key to building wealth is tracking every step. What you measure grows. When you start writing down your goals, earnings, lessons, and even small daily progress, your brain understands you're building something real, creating a sense of progress. This generates continuous motivation. After all, 6 months of reading 10 pages a day means at least 7 books read, and 7 books of wisdom can radically change how you think about money, business, and success. Wealth isn't something you chase, but something you attract by the person you choose to become. When you work harder on yourself than on your job, when you invest more in your development than in fleeting distractions, you start becoming someone who naturally generates value, and money flows to those who create value. Investing in yourself is perhaps the fastest way to accelerate wealth. Formal education might secure a salary, but self-education builds fortunes. That's why those who read, learn, seek mentors, attend training, and constantly expand their knowledge can open doors others don't even notice exist. Now think about this. How much money did you invest in your personal growth last year? Many people don't hesitate to spend $100 on a dinner, but hesitate to invest the same amount in a book that could change how they handle money for the rest of their lives. This is where the difference is made between those who keep struggling to pay bills and those who achieve financial freedom. In the next 6 months, you have the chance to prove to yourself that wealth isn't luck, but a choice. Not fate, but a decision. Not a gift, but a daily construction. If you make your growth a priority, choose the right people, write clear goals, and commit to small, consistent habits, financial transformation will come as an inevitable consequence. The truth is, millions of people are waiting for the next government, the next opportunity, or the next stroke of luck to change their lives. But the minority who prosper understand that the only thing that truly changes your story is the firm decision to change now, to act today, to not wait for tomorrow. Wealth begins in the mind, gains strength through habits, multiplies with discipline, and flourishes with clarity. If you decide to apply these 10 keys authentically, 6 months from now, you'll look back and realize you're living a standard of life that seemed impossible, but began with the simple act of taking responsibility and taking the first step. Many people don't realize how much they hesitate to invest in themselves. They spend on immediate pleasures but feel a weight when it comes to buying a course, a book, or attending a training that could transform their financial life forever. This is one of the greatest contradictions of a scarcity mindset, because those who avoid investing in themselves end up paying a much higher price. The price of stagnation. Over the next 6 months, one of the smartest ways to accelerate your wealth is to direct resources toward your own growth. Books, courses, workshops, mentorships, and even conversations with more experienced people open doors you could never open alone. Those who are where you want to be know things you haven't yet discovered, and learning from them is like shortcutting years of trial and error. Another principle that completely changes your journey is understanding that wealth doesn't come from a sudden leap, but from the sum of small, consistent steps. Improving just 1% each day means that in 6 months, you're almost twice as good as when you started. This shows that continuous progress, even if subtle, has explosive power over time. Most people wait for the perfect moment, the big stroke of luck or the unique opportunity, but financial success is built through small daily choices. This is the magic of discipline. Those who have the courage to be consistent in small steps inevitably achieve massive results. Another determining factor is how you set goals. Many people limit themselves to what's safe and achievable, rarely daring to dream big. Wealth requires goals that scare you a little, because if your goals don't give you butterflies, they probably don't have the power to transform your reality. So, in the next 6 months, allow yourself to set targets that seem too big, but when broken down into small daily tasks, become achievable. The secret isn't taking one giant step at once, but adding up hundreds of consistent steps that, together, lead you to an extraordinary destination. The environment you live in also needs to be shaped. The place where you spend your day can either boost or hinder your productivity. If you want to create wealth, clear your spaces, organize your home, and build an environment that stimulates your mind to think big. The brain responds to its surroundings, and when you create a space that conveys order and clarity, your mind naturally expands. Here's a powerful truth. You don't change your destiny in a single day, but you can change your direction immediately. The decision you make today will put you on a completely different path 6 months from now. Life is less about the resources you have and more about your ability to be creative and make the most of what's already in your hands. Another principle for building wealth now is raising your standards. Your life always adjusts to the level of expectation you set for yourself. If you settle for little, you'll have little. But if you decide you deserve more, you start acting in line with that new standard. The human brain seeks to align with what you truly expect of yourself. Don't accept mediocre relationships, neglected health, small financial results, or a lackluster professional life. When you raise the bar, your mind inevitably finds ways to reach that new level. Over the next 6 months, this simple act of expecting more from yourself can completely redefine your reality. Your daily habits are the foundation of this transformation. It's not what you do occasionally that changes your life, but what you repeat every day. Waking up 1 hour earlier for 6 months gives you 180 extra hours to work on your projects, learn new skills, and take steps that put you ahead of most people. Everyone has 24 hours, but only those who make those hours truly prosper. Time isn't just about quantity, it's about quality of use. If you master your time, you'll also master your financial future, as life is a direct consequence of how you manage each day. Another powerful secret is accountability. When you answer to someone, whether a friend, a mentor, or a group, your brain creates a stronger sense of commitment than if you were relying solely on your own willpower. We tend to push harder to avoid disappointing others than to avoid disappointing ourselves. Over the next 6 months, find someone to share your journey with. Share your goals, celebrate wins, and commit fully. This accountability network will be one of the gears that sustains your discipline when motivation wanes, as motivation is fleeting, but commitment keeps you steady. Here's a truth few want to hear. You will face obstacles, you will fall, you will make mistakes, and you will fail sometimes. What separates the wealthy from the poor is how quickly they get back up. Success isn't the absence of falls, it's the ability to rise more times than you fall. The faster you recover, the faster your life keeps moving forward. Another essential point is your ability to focus. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. If you spend hours on distractions, social media, comparisons, or pointless conversations, you're throwing away energy that could be building wealth. But if you focus only on what truly matters, every action becomes concrete progress. Motivation is important, but not enough. It's like a hot shower. It feels good, but it fades quickly. That's why habits are more powerful. They sustain you even when you don't feel like continuing. Wealth is built by those who make discipline a lifestyle, not by those who rely on fleeting enthusiasm. Another secret that accelerates prosperity is learning to celebrate every step forward. If you wait for the big final goal to celebrate, you'll lose energy along the way. But if you value each step, each goal achieved, each small victory, your mind becomes more engaged in continuing. Celebrating creates emotional fuel to keep going. And remember, success leaves clues. Successful people always leave traces in books, talks, interviews, and life stories. If you want to accelerate your financial growth, study these people, learn from them, copy their patterns, and then add your own essence. There's no absolute secret, just references that shorten the path. Over the next 6 months, the key isn't waiting for things to get easier, but becoming stronger. It's not waiting for problems to disappear, but developing skills to face them intelligently. Wealth doesn't come to those who wish for fewer obstacles, but to those who build more competencies. Success isn't a destination, but a path of continuous growth. If you understand that wealth isn't something found at the end of the road, but something you build with every decision, you'll realize that 6 months from now, you'll not only be living at a new financial level, but in a new dimension of mindset. Because there's no external transformation without a profound internal change. Have you ever noticed that life is always testing you? Every day, you're faced with a choice. Stay trapped in the same routine that silently destroys you, or finally rise up and take control of your destiny. The power of gratitude is the first brick in this process, because when you learn to be thankful for what you have, you turn scarcity into enough, lack into abundance, pain into strength. Imagine this. Over the next 6 months, writing down 3 things you're grateful for every day. That's over 500 moments where your mind trains to see light where it once saw only darkness. This isn't just an exercise, it's a mental reprogramming that opens doors you never imagined. But life won't stop throwing challenges at you. The difference is, you can't choose whether you'll suffer, but you can choose to grow through the pain. Growth is a decision, and the decision is always yours. 6 months will pass either way, but you can decide now that when that time comes, you'll be at a new level. Ask yourself, where do you want to be? Because the answer doesn't depend on chance, it depends on the discipline you choose to practice today. The truth is harsh. You're not tired, you're undisciplined. You're not lost, you're surrounded by people who taught you to live small. Every day, the world tries to convince you to be weak, to settle, to believe that being average is enough, but it's not. Every minute you give in to weakness, the man you were born to be dies a little more. Look around. Most people live like zombies, waking up without purpose, grabbing their phones as a shield against their own reality, numbing themselves with cheap pleasures, chasing distractions that drain their vital energy. These people are prisoners, and the worst part is they don't even see the bars. They were deceived early on with phrases like, "You're perfect as you are," when the truth is, no, you're not perfect. You're far from your true potential, weakened, drowning in excuses. But inside you, there's a powerful man, a strong man, A man who will only be born when you decide to destroy the old you. You don't become a person of value by accident. You become one through fire, pressure, pain, and discipline. It's in defeats, rejections, and the days when no one believes in you that you're forged. Every early morning you push through without applause, every workout you do despite not feeling like it, every book you read while others get lost in distractions, all of it builds something money can't buy, self-respect. Let me tell you something straight. You have to kill the weak man inside. You. That lazy guy who procrastinates, hides, and lives off excuses. If you don't kill him, he'll kill your future. Every day you don't grow is a day you choose to be forgettable. The world doesn't reward potential. It respects performance. The world doesn't give participation trophies. It bows to those with discipline. A man of value doesn't need to prove anything with words. He walks into a room, and his energy speaks for itself. This doesn't come from muscles, expensive clothes, or followers. It comes from something deeper, self-confidence built in silent battles. You don't pretend to be valuable. You become undeniable. You become impossible to ignore because your very existence demands respect. But don't be fooled. This doesn't happen overnight. There will be days when you want to give up. Days when your mind screams it's pointless. Days when your body begs to stop. And it's in those moments, behind the scenes, when no one's watching, that the separation happens. That's when the ordinary man quits. But the man of value clenches his fist and says, "I don't care how I feel. I'm not done yet." Being a man of value isn't about arrogance. A true man of value is firm but also knows how to listen, guide, and inspire. He doesn't need to show off because his strength naturally overflows. He doesn't seek attention. He attracts it because he lives differently. He's already paid the price in blood, time, and sweat. He's won battles no one will ever know about. And this journey isn't just about money, women, or status. Those things come as a byproduct. The real reward is internal. It's having peace, knowing you own your life, walking through chaos unshaken, having the strength to say no when the world pushes you to break your principles. That's freedom. That's value. That man already exists inside you. He's buried under years of lies, addictions, and excuses. But he's still there. He's just waiting for you to stop playing around and start living for real. The world treats those who walk with purpose differently, and you'll feel it the moment you take the first step. Life opens paths for those with the courage to commit. So stop believing you have infinite time. Time isn't your friend. It's your cruelest enemy. It's ticking right now while you're reading this, while you're procrastinating, while you're delaying. Every wasted minute is a piece stolen from the greatness you could build. If you don't wake up now, you'll wake up too late. Being a person of value isn't an accident. It's a choice. It's a daily pact with yourself. If you're not willing to pay the price, stay where you are, but never say you didn't have a choice. Because the truth is, the choice has always been right in front of you. I was once broken too, not just in my bank account, but in my soul. I was once small, weak, empty, but I decided I wouldn't die as a nobody, and that same decision is now in front of you. So I ask you, will you keep feeding the weak man inside you, or will you finally kill him and give life to the man you were born to be remembered as?